Hi class, I'd like to walk through some parts of your assignment this week and show you some features of Excel which I think will help you. So here we have something that looks like your assignment, not quite finished. So it's nice to have a picture in mind of where you're trying to go with this. But let's talk about some features of Excel. So what you see here is a sheet, and I can add a new sheet by clicking on the plus down here, and you can have many sheets in a workbook, kind of like you can have many pages in a Word file. And each sheet can be quite large. So this is a row, and a sheet can have 1,000,000 rows. And in addition to that, this is a column, and each sheet can have over 16,000 columns. So it's kind of mind-boggling how big an Excel worksheet can be. And again, you can have multiple sheets in a single file. So the next thing I'd like to go over is what can be in a cell. So you can have text in a cell. So we have text in some of these cells. You can also have numbers in a cell. And so we have some numbers. And when you click in a cell, you see the number is also displayed up here in the formula bar, or the label is displayed up here in the formula bar. And the address is displayed over here in the name box. So now I'd like to use a formula, so we're going to click in a cell where I'd like to place a formula. And we're going to click on the Formulas tab, and we're going to choose from the pull down here the sum function, and you see Excel inserted the sum function and made a guess as to what it thinks I would like to sum. And in this case it's right, so I could press the enter key, or I click on the check mark up here and accept that. So now what you see is that in the cell where there is a function, you see the result of that function or formula. And if you click in that cell, you actually see the formula up here in the formula bar. So that's something kind of unique about Excel. And the other thing is I'd like to use that same formula, but in all these other rows. And so when you click on a cell, you see down here a autofill handle on the lower right corner. It's that square box in the selection border. If you move the mouse over that, it turns into a plus. So if I click and drag the plus down, I'm going to copy that formula down all these rows. And that's a really nice handy feature, saves you typing that over and over. And these are live, so if I change one of these numbers, the whole worksheet automatically recalculates according to that update. And so now I'd like to use that sum function again, but down here in row 17. So we're going to total this column. So again, I'm going to go back to the Home tab because the sum function is also available there. I'm going to choose sum, and Excel is going to make a guess what I'd like to sum. But this is not the right guess, actually. I do not want to include row 15 and 16. And so I'm going to go up here and edit the formula and change that to 14. And I like that answer, so I'm going to click on it. You can also adjust the range by clicking on the corner handles and changing. And I could have done that down here, but it's very hard to grab the handle when it's right next to the cell that has the formula in it. So anyway, we now have the right range in here, so I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to grab the autofill handle, which you see, and copy that across. So now we have added up the columns, and we've also added each row. So the last thing I want to do, or not the last thing, but the next thing is I want to make a table. No, I don't want to do that yet. I want to do the subtotal formula. So that I'm going to actually type in by doing equal subtotal parentheses. And now you see I get a whole list of things I could subtotal. I could do a count, I could do a maximum, minimum, etc. I could do a sum, but I want to do the sum, which is 109, and that's a code which tells Excel to sum as a subtotal what's visible in this table that I'm going to make. And so I put a comma in because I had to do the function number, and now I have to do what I want to sum. So I'm going to just click and drag what I want to, the range I'd like to have the subtotal on, and I'm going to click the checkbox to say I'm done. So now you see the subtotal is actually the same as the total because all the rows in this table are showing. I'm going to copy that across using the autofill handle. And so now I want to make this into a table. So I'm going to click and drag, and then I'm going to go up here to Format as Table on the Home tab, and I'm going to choose a style. Any style here you'd like is okay. And I do want to have this box checks because the first row are actually headers, not data, not numbers. So I'm going to click OK, and so now I've made a table here. And what that does is put some table tools here in each of the heading columns. So if I go up here and click on this, for instance, I can sort smallest to largest. So I'm going to do that. So now I've sorted this table by column F, and how I know that is it has this little arrow in the icon for the table features that shows that it's sorted. And if I filter, I'd like to filter by month. So I'm going to go over here to month, click on that, and I'm going to check the select all to unselect it, and then I'm going to check the months that I want to show in the table and click OK. And now I'm filtering the table, and it shows that by this filter icon that's now in the table pull down. And the subtotal now is adding up just the parts of the table that are showing. So I have 3 months, all 900, and that equals 2,700, and that's right. And the total is still showing the total for all the rows in the table that I suggested earlier. So now we've seen all these features that we've used in working with our worksheet. And so what you're going to turn in is going to look something like this. There's some more pieces to it, and we will let you figure those out from the directions, but I think this will give you a good start on that, and I look forward to getting your work.